Hey guys, what's up, guys? What's up? Today we'll be doing whatever is going on right now. And hey guys, what's up, guys? It's my third live stream right now. And today we will be doing whatever we want. So comment what you guys want to do below. Play new campaign trail, react to videos, whatever. Let's react to some videos. Let's react to some to political history.
Before the election.
Okay, guys.
Hi, I'm Joe Garagiola. In the last 10 days, I've been traveling all over America with an extraordinary human being, President Gerald Ford. And I've done it because I believe in this man. You know, I've never done much more before than just vote. But this year, the stakes were just too high to just sit on the sidelines. So on this last night before the election, I want you to see a film about Jerry Ford. A documentary about his background, about his family, about the job he's already doing, and about his hopes for America. And then I want you to hear from President Ford himself. But before you see this film or hear from the president, somebody else has something to say about this election and about this man. Now, all America knows her, and all America loves her. It's Pearlie, Miss Pearl Bailey.
I've never done this before in my life. I'm not here to judge men. The Bible says I am not to judge. But I do hope that you think before you vote. Use all the goodness within you. Don't, just because some people will say, well, yeah, but what happened a couple of years ago? Yes, you're right. A couple of years ago, our country was truly shaken. And a man was put at the head of it named Gerald Ford. I really believe in his heart, oh, he's made some mistakes, honey. You better believe he has. I wouldn't sit here and even try to say he didn't. I'll tell you what, if a man is trying, and a man has more than dreams, he has something called get up and go and truth. Most of all, he has something I like very much in every human being, simplicity and honesty. Because I really believe he's an honest man. That's why I like Gerald Ford. And that's why I hope that, I don't know, please think about it. It's so important. It really is.
That's a real lady. She gives you a lump in your throat. She's talking about my kind of guy. And I think he's your kind of guy, too. And now I want you to take a look at a special documentary film about President Ford. And then when it's over, President Ford himself will talk to you right here from Air Force One.
I am honored by your nomination, and I accept it.
August 19, 1976. With the mandate of his party, President Ford spoke from the heart to the heartland of America.
You are the people who pay the taxes and obey the laws. You are the people who make our system work. You are the people who make America.
Good evening. This is the 37th time I have spoken to you from this office, where so many decisions have been made that shape the history of this nation. Each time I have done so to discuss with you some matter that I believe affected the national interest. In all the decisions I have made in my public life, I have always tried to do what was best for the nation. Throughout the long and difficult period of Watergate, I have felt it was my duty to persevere, to make every possible effort to complete the term of office to which you elected me. In the past few days, however, it has become evident to me that I no longer have a strong enough political base in the Congress to justify continuing that effort. As long as there was such a base, I felt strongly that it was necessary to see the constitutional process through to its conclusion, that to do otherwise would be unfaithful to the spirit of that deliberately difficult process and a dangerously destabilizing precedent for the future. But with the disappearance of that base, I now believe that the constitutional purpose has been served, and there is no longer a need for the process to be prolonged. I would have preferred to carry through to the finish, whatever the personal agony it would have involved. And my family unanimously urged me to do so. But the interests of the nation must always come before any personal considerations. From the discussions I have had with congressional and other leaders, I have concluded that because of the Watergate matter, I might not have the support of the Congress that I would consider necessary to back the very difficult decisions and carry out the duties of this office in the way the interests of the nation will require. I have never been a quitter. To leave office before my term is completed is abhorrent to every instinct in my body. But as president, I must put the interests of America first. America needs a full-time president and a full-time Congress, particularly at this time with problems we face at home and abroad. To continue to fight through the months ahead for my personal vindication would almost totally absorb the time and attention of both the President and the Congress in a period when our entire focus should be on the great issue of peace abroad and
Nixon
prosperity
now
without inflation at home.
to find a way
Therefore,
to make tomorrow.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
No!
Vice
Rigged!
President Ford
Rigged!
will be sworn in as president at that hour in this office.
No, rigged.
Franklin University makes it possible. Time has come, make a break from historical. Set a course on a path to the magical. Show the world how you're
Unstoppable. Franklin University makes it possible. Your mong and bon, your mong. Big titty. I've been working on the railroad each and single day. I've been working on the railroad each single day. I've been working on the railroad every single day. I've been working on the railroad. Let's go! Let's go! I'm a little bit of butter. I'm a little butter. And I'm Oh, then that's not gonna be. That's what I'm talking about. Going to this mode on easy mode. No problem. Oh, I'm never gonna give you up. Oh, I'm never gonna. Oh, please don't break me down. Oh, oh, the best day of my life. It was terrible back there. I should have been a bit more conservative. I should have been a little more. It's better than just being fucking racist. I hate Nick. Yo, Retro, I'm doing a live. Hold up. Shut up, bitch. That's too much damage. I touched the big loud. I touched the big loud. Oh, 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 oh. I'm never gonna give you up. Oh, please don't. My ideas. American Clinton. Yeah, it's better than just saying one word. I hear a window, I hear a going on. Window, I hear a window. Oh, shit. Yo, what's up? What up, you joined the chat? What's up? Oh my god! TNT Pop! Oh my god, dude. What's up, man? Yo, what's up, Retro? After this mod, does anybody want me to play a different mod? I'm thinking I'm playing the 1824 mod. Haven't played that one yet. Yo, what's up, Retro? And what's up, Pop? Man, I'm too progressive. Yo, guys, hold on, guys. I gotta get something real quick. Be back in a couple seconds. No, a couple minutes. Sorry, guys. I apologize so much. Woodslide. Oh, yeah, man. We're about to win this election by a landslide. Woodslide, let's go! Gee. Okay. Woodside! Talking about. Yeah! Fuck communism. Better dead than red. That's what I say. Look at my land sign. Oh yeah, it is, bro. It's for, bro. It is, bro. It's foreshadowing. I guess. I mean, George McCarthy was probably like 13 when this actually did happen in real life. I'm not sure he ever met Lenore Wood though. I do know Wood was the Republican nominee and actually almost won the election, besides it went to Hardin. Which, by the way, I gotta know quick. That fucking sucked ass. Come on. Because, hold up, let me just show you a poll real quick. I think it's always interesting that a lot of people don't talk about. Hold up, 1920 Republican primary. Okay, look. Guys, look at this shit. So you're gonna tell me right now that, yeah, Joseph McCarthy definitely sucked ass, but here's my example. Okay, look at this shit. So you're gonna tell me that Wood wins majority. These are the states that Wood wins right there, as you guys can see. Wood wins all of these areas. So that's Hiram Johnson. That's Frank Arden Loden, the governor of Illinois. Leonard Wood, governor general of the Philippines, military governor of the Philippines until his death. Okay? Now look at this real quick. This is the part that always pisses me off the most. Look at this shit. So Hiram wins these areas. These are the areas that Hiram Johnson wins, right? Over here. These are the areas that Hiram Johnson wins. These areas, right there. Okay? Alright? Now, these are the areas that Wood wins. Right there. So this is Sister Wood wins. He wins his home state. This is Loden. He wins only one area. Alright? Now, this is the first place by convention call. As you guys can see here, Wood overwhelmingly does not do so good, but he still does pretty good. And then we have the one that put me off. The little yellow state right there in Ohio. That belongs to Hardin. Hardin only won one state. Alright? In other words, to be honest with you, that shit was fucking rigged. That shit was rigged. So you're gonna tell me right now that Wood wins majority of the context. Now you may point and say, yeah, he was. Now, you must say that Hiram Johnson himself did win the popular vote, which he did, as you guys can see here. He won the popular vote by a landslide, 30%. And the thing about it is, personally, if I was Wood or Johnson, I would have merely said, fuck Hardin. Oh, 100%. Yeah, he would have. But I think Fine Bob, he had great respect for Teddy Roosevelt, but I just personally think that he wouldn't have done it because he didn't want the ticket to split apart. He understood that there's no way Roosevelt could have won the election by a landslide. There was no way at all. Guys, let's go back to the game we're playing. Guys, we got this. Alright. We're not gonna lose. We're gonna win. We're gonna win by a landslide. We're not losing. If we lose, it's rigged. If we win, it's real. Balls and glow. Oh, 100%, they were fucking rigged. They were. McDougal should have won the nomination, but it went to John Davis. Does anyone tell me what was John Davis' career was? Because like he was one of the most like forgettable nominees of all time. I don't know why he was even picked at all. I mean, McDougal should have won the nomination, but he lost it because there was no. The 1944 Democratic National Convention, that shit was a fucking mess. That was a mess. It took them until 40 damn ballots for them to pick their nominee. Meaning that nowadays it takes usually like 5 or 10, I would say. It took them until 40 to pick Davis. Yeah, 100%. They were. Yeah, that's when I did. Yeah, because when FDR got in office in 1932, when he won the nomination, he basically changed the nominee factor and made it so like if you won the popular vote, you are the nominee. So there's no bullshit of like you gotta go for like delegate, you gotta like 5, 10, 20, 15, 18. You won 6% of delegates, you become delegate. You won 50% of delegates, you become the nominee. So that's what he did. Illegal immigrant! Sorry. That's a good pick, but I would vote for FDR in 1942. Just based on like Al Smith lost the 1928 election because he was a Catholic. And not to mention, nobody could beat FDR in speaking. And plus, FDR's policy, when you talk about it, are actually, I mean, Wood was an amazing governor and a good person. But I feel like based on like winning an election, I feel like FDR would do much better than Wood would do. Because even though the economy was still shit, Hoover could have still made, like I said, like Wood's a Catholic. If he gets elected in 1942, he's gonna dig underneath a tunnel and give it to the Pope. So that's different, I think. balls hanging. Sorry. Oh god, not okay. Hold up, guys. I gotta get someone real quick. I'll be quick. I'll be coming back very soon. Okay. Alright, guys, let's go back to what we were playing. Almost done. Hey, so it's just. Yo, I love Dick Cheney. I love Dick Cheney. He's the best. We lost. Fake news. It wasn't rigged. It wasn't fair. We lost. Alright, guys. Today we'll be playing in 1860 mod. Today we'll be playing as Yeah, Gardner was a good pick. Direction. Hey, soul sister. Hey, put up on Mr. Radio. There you go. The way you're moving up now. Hey, soul sister. Hey, you know my Mr. Radio. There we go. I love that guy! I love that guy! Hold on.
Are well cared for.
I feel my health is very important. My kids need me around, and my grandkids also need me there.
Visit Choose Buckeye.
Lee has been regarded, shot down, and relegated to the bottom of the barrel, and seemingly from across the
Wasn't it
political
never
spectrum as
wrong?
well. Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Greens, Liberals, and Conservatives increasingly appear to carry a negative opinion of Wilson for any number of individual or combination of reasons. While Wilson has suffered these blows to his reputation, almost paradoxically has another president from the same era risen to tremendous popularity in spite of many of these same, if not more extreme, actions and ideological leanings. That president was the much-beloved Theodore Roosevelt, and we'll be referencing him and the progressive movement of the day repeatedly throughout this video. Most often pinned on Wilson are accusations of tyranny, racism, imperialism, hypocrisy, incompetence, warmongering, etc. Great hate seems to stem from a belief that he was particularly responsible for actions which in reality were the product of years of progressive policy, from a belief that he somehow altered or compromised the progressive movement, from a belief
She
that he
fucking
stood
did.
widely apart from other progressives of the day,
Look at-
and alone must shoulder the scorn for all
So
which might have gone
Kevin-
wrong during those decades. Moreover, that so much wrong occurred.
Does anybody want to tell me what was Woodrow Wilson's slogan in the 1916 election? There it is! Exactly! He kept us out of war! Okay, he ran a platform of he kept us out of war. And then a month into his office, what happened? He got us into war. That's like me running on a campaign of saying, I'm not gonna cause inflation. And then the next day, and when I get in office, I start printing money. For God's sake. Absolutely bullshit. This man, he ran a platform against Charles Evan Hughes, a Supreme Court judge in governor of New York, talking about, if you vote for Hughes, he's gonna get into war. I'll keep you out of war. Gets in office, the next day, all right, guys, ready to go to war? And a lot of people, yeah, exactly, just for Hughes. And also, I don't want to make real quick. I think it's like bullshit. There's this fucking lie. It talks about he was forced to. He didn't want to go to war. Literally, he you guys remember Pancho Villa? The whole like raids going on in America where he like decided to invade Mexico? Yeah, that happened before World War One. So he had no problem invading other countries when he came to Mexico. This man is the definition of a fucking clickbaiter.
During those days, when in fact we find great justification and acceptance from the public of the time in regard to actions taken by the Wilson administration. Of course, I'll preface this and later conclude as well by stating that I do not personally agree with all of the policies and ideologies of Woodrow Wilson, but rather recognize a very unjust mischaracterization of a historic figure and feel it only right to correct such misunderstanding through insight. Wilson has been accused of taking the use of government power to unprecedented and unjustified heights in his creation of new business regulations, establishing the income tax, establishing the Federal Reserve, and prosecuting anti-American and extremist individuals during and immediately following the American entry into the Great War. On regulation, Wilson's Federal Trade Commission was a more efficient successor to Roosevelt's Bureau of Corporations, which could not regulate but only investigate and bring such findings before a court, allowing unscrupulous businesses to navigate loopholes during this long process. Wilson's FTC, on the other hand, could now investigate and act immediately, bringing a rapid end to illegal and unfair practices, as well as prevent the formation of monopolies and trusts before they had a chance to establish themselves by giving the government direct oversight and final say whenever large businesses decided to merge. On taxation, Wilson merely built on the work and infrastructure of his predecessors, Roosevelt and Taft, by putting the previously established 16th Amendment, which authorized Congress to collect taxes on income, to work. Wilson's tax was a mere 1 to 6% for only the top 3% of the population. The revenue accumulated from this tax, allowing Wilson to cut tariffs by nearly half and thus significantly reduce the price of imported products for the entire country. On the Federal Reserve, it must be stressed that Wilson inherited the Federal Reserve Plan from a commission originally established during the Roosevelt administration, which sought to create a centralized banking system now that the U.S. had gone from a regional and developing power to a global power. Wilson, not wanting to establish a central bank per se, given the country's bumpy history with such systems, modified the plan by introducing elements which turned it into a semi-private, semi-public institution. However, its function remained largely the same as was intended by the Commission, and the new plan was largely praised by progressives of the day, who saw it as a solution to America's economic instability. Whether it was successful is extremely questionable, and what Wilson can be faulted for is merely that he happened to be the man to sign it into existence. Had Roosevelt, Taft, or any other progressive of the day been in his position, it almost certainly would have been created regardless. On the Espionage and Sedition Acts, America had faced internal strife for some time by the Wilson, primarily actions perpetrated by recent immigrants who subscribed to anarchist and socialist ideologies from Europe and engaged in violent action against American citizens. With the outbreak of the Great War, fears abounded of foreign...
Hell no! No! You do not bring up my boy, William McKinley. From Canton, Ohio. I live 30 minutes away from, I live 20 minutes away from Canton. Alright, you do not bring up my boy William McKinley because he was assassinated. Alright? His death happened like 17 years before, it happened like 12 years before all these before he signed the Sedition Act. Alright? It's complete bullshit. This dumbass wants to bring up William McKinley, talk about, William McKinley was assassinated by anarchists. Yeah, he was! Alright? But then he was about to sign a bill that basically deported all anarchists in the country. Alright? It's complete horseshit. I wouldn't call Brian yeah, thank the Lord, bro. This guy sucks.
Foreign actors attempting to harm or provoke the United States. The British were eager to have the United States on their side and may not have been above putting American lives in danger to accomplish that goal. Meanwhile, the Germans were more interested in causing trouble that would keep the United States preoccupied and out of Europe, perhaps inciting a large population of German Americans into rebellion or provoking Mexico to initiate a war with its northern neighbor. Wilson was not willing to accept this risk, and until threats subsided, sought cracking down on seditious speech, and roughly 1,000 individuals were prosecuted. Following the end of the Great War and as the Russian Civil War raged on, inspiring far-left activities across Europe, a series of anarchist-inspired bombings and assassination attempts on prominent Americans were made, provoking a surge of arrests in an attempt to quell what many feared could be an anarchist or communist uprising within the U.S. The morality of these actions are not purely black and white. They were desperate actions during desperate times, not unfamiliar to American policy whenever it finds itself drawn into foreign affairs. One of the earliest laws passed in this country, after all, having been the Alien and Sedition Acts, meant to serve much the same purpose when war with France was a strong possibility. To wholly dismiss the circumstances surrounding Wilson's reasoning for resorting to this decision and then moralizing it as merely bad is plainly unjust. In summary, Wilson's use of government power was not without justification nor precedent, nor was it out of line with progressive governing strategies used by his predecessors Taft and Roosevelt. As was expected of a progressive, Wilson utilized federal power to produce efficiency, security, and greater prosperity for the majority, even if at the expense of a wealthy, deviant, or criminal minority. Wilson has been accused of intensifying segregation in government, giving rise to the Second Ku Klux Klan, and as many like to say, being racist even for his time. On the matter of government segregation, the exclusion or disfavor of black employees, what was known as the Lily White movement, was by and large a product of its day, and more so of progressivism in particular. I touch on this in great detail in this video here, but to summarize, progressivism of the day was obsessed with efficiency and purity. As the belief of many went, you could not have an efficient society or system if there were deviant factors which refused to assimilate and act in harmony with the rest. Blacks were commonly seen as less American than most immigrants, said immigrants being largely white and thus able to blend more seamlessly into the American culture over time. Racial tensions at the time were very high, especially as many blacks began moving in great number from the south to the north, and progressive politicians responded to this by ostracizing blacks from their ranks. Following a much criticized dinner with Booker T. Washington, Roosevelt caved to public desires and embraced the Lily White movement. Taft did the same, and Wilson, also being a progressive, followed suit. While Wilson allowed Lily Whiteism to continue, once again we have an instance of if virtually any other progressive was in power instead of him, it would have happened anyway, and these actions are a product of the progressive culture of the time, not a product of Wilson being, quote, racist even for his time. One might even argue that Wilson did more for blacks than other progressives, and that he took a clear
Alright, guys, can I read you something real quick? Just a quick quote. Alright, here it is. The white men were aroused by a mere instinct of self-preservation, until at last there had sprung into great existence a great Ku Klux Klan, a verbal empire of the South, to protect the southern country. Okay, guys, he's me that. It said this. Alright. The white men were moved by a mere instinct of self-preservation. And then at last there had sprung into existence a great Ku Klux Klan, a veritable empire of the South, to protect the southern country. So how the fuck is he not racist? How? He grew up in the South during the Civil War. He is one of the only two presidents to be born to live in the Confederate States. John Tyler and Woodrow Wilson. There's nobody else, only them. Wilson's own parents were pro-Confederate supporters. In his books, he talks about he saw those those damn slaves and those damn Yankees come into his country and destroy all of it. This man is not just racist. He is racist. He makes people like George Wallace say, you need to chill out. George Wallace was racist, but at least George Wallace is a decent state. George Wallace actually repented for his sins. Alright? Roger Wilson never. Wilson probably remained racist until the fucking day he died. At least people like Strom Thurmond and George Wallace, at least they were able to say, you know what, I was a piece of shit back then. I'm sorry about everything. Wilson and Jesse Helms. He's like, yeah. Guys, what's your opinion on Jesse Helms? senator from North Carolina. Yeah, there's no fucking. Also, can we do a quick, just a real quick quote?
The interwar period in the United States was a time of profound turbulence and transformation. After the devastation of World War I and America's shift from an isolationist power to a global one, the nation struggled to redefine itself amidst growing economic disparity. The Roaring '20s had given Americans a fleeting taste of prosperity, but beneath the surface, the foundations of that prosperity were fragile. By 1929, the stock market had crashed, and this sent shockwaves through the country, plunging the United States and much of the world into the depths of the Great Depression. As breadlines formed and grew in major cities and unemployment skyrocketed, many looked abroad for solutions in the face of this utter disaster. The rise of socialism in Russia and corporatism in Italy, where in both countries the state had taken control of large sectors of the economy, appeared to offer a way out. For many desperate Americans, these nationalized systems, with their promises of a powerful government that could care for and protect its citizens, seemed increasingly attractive. It was during this bleak and uncertain time that Franklin Delano Roosevelt rose to prominence. His New Deal, a pragmatic response to the economic crisis, embodied the growing desire for a strong interventionist government. FDR created federal government programs like the Works Progress Administration, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and the Securities and Exchange Commission. He nationalized Social Security and really threw everything possible at the wall in order to provide relief to the suffering, restore confidence in the economy, and regulate the chaotic financial sector. His leadership would ultimately carry him through an unprecedented 4 terms in office, but Franklin Roosevelt was not the only figure challenging the status quo. Besides the second wave of progressivism, another political force emerged with a vision some might consider even more radical. He was called the Kingfish, and he would reshape not just his home state of Louisiana, but leave a lasting impact on the foundations of modern American populism to this day. His name was Huey Long. Huey Pierce Long Jr., born in the heart of rural Louisiana in 1893, grew up in the modest town of Winfield, a place that, like much of the Deep South, knew poverty all too well. The 7th of 9 children, Huey was raised by parents who valued education and Christian morals and encouraged their children to rise above their humble circumstances. From a young age, he exhibited a gift for oration, winning debate championships in high school and honing the persuasive skills that would later define his career. In 1915, at just 22 years old, he passed the Louisiana bar exam and began practicing law in Winfield. It was in these early years, representing poor farmers in their battles against
Alright, guys. Who do you think, Huey Long, what do you think states are going to vote for Huey Long? Happy day. Happy days are here again. The sun is shining enough. Sing the song. Join. Happy days are here again. There will be. Alright, guys. Hugh slide! Hugh slide! Long. Long slide! Long slide! Dead Cow 2028. Oh my god. Yes, Dead Cow! Dead Cow! Who's your favorite president? Who's your favorite presidential candidate? Like the third party. My favorite is probably gonna be like Teddy. My favorite is probably gonna be Robert M. Lafayette. Robert Lafayette. What about you? Oh yeah, I love Ross Perot. Wait, hold up. No, I got an idea. Hold up. Oh yeah, man, that one I should do next. But hold on, let me play New Campaign Trail real quick. That's okay. Donald Trump. Ah! Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. I do. Yes, I do. Wait. Do you guys support NAFTA? Yes or no? I'm pro NAFTA. Go NAFTA. I love NAFTA. Oh, I forgot he did hate NAFTA. Fuck. God damn it. Oh my god, we're gonna win! We're gonna win by landslide! Oh, you got... No, I love communism. Communism good. The Little Red Book. Why you little moon? Oh, god damn it! Oh, I can't even fucking. What? I'm still gonna win. I'm still gonna win this election because I know I can, and I'm not gonna lose to a damn cheater. What should I do, guys? Do you think I should address them or just say no? Yeah, I like Reagan. It just depends on like depends on like which sack you're talking about. Because like Reagan, to be honest, with you, did make some mistakes under his presidency, like the Iran-Contra affair. I could say. But if I had to get Reagan like a tier list, I would put Reagan in A tier. The only person I put in S tier would be Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, and Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah, he is. He's been a Republican president we've had in the last 4 years. Definitely is. I mean, that's actually true, but like, I gotta say real quick. God damn, this has been difficult, but can I give you ranking my favorite Democrats president? My top 5? Don't worry, they're not biased. I mean, they kind of are, but they're gonna be kind of biased, a little bit. All right, number 5. Bill Clinton. Number 4. LBJ. And why say LBJ? Because the accomplishments. That's right. All right, LBJ as a person was a terrible human being. But name me one president that could pass more bills in a day than Johnson. Nobody ever could. This man whipped the Republicans' ass so badly that the Republicans had to crawl into a hole and dug out of it and had to wait until Reagan got in office in 1980 for them to become more conservative. They had a high need for conservatism. Number 3, FDR. Sorry, number 3, James K. Polk. Number 2, Harry Truman. Number 1, FDR. I'm a diehard FDR fan. Oh, I'm a... Oh... Yeah, that's your man, but yeah, that's my opinion too, but that's still good opinion, not gonna lie. That's still good tier list, not gonna lie. I mean, Harry Truman's definitely base. Top 5 Republicans. Okay. Can I type it in real quick? Just I'm gonna type it in real quick for you. Alright, thank you. Yep, that's actually pretty similar to what I'm trying to say. Yeah, my top 5 would be, this is my opinion, but my top 5 would probably be Eisenhower, number 5, Reagan, number 4, Dwight D. Eisenhower, number 3, Teddy Roosevelt, number 2, and then Abraham Lincoln, number 1. For me, that's my opinion, though. Hey, yeah. Oh, it's a big low. Oh, it's a big low. Oh, it's a big low. I can walk 1,000 miles and I walk 1,000 miles and be. Yeah, I mean, those are great. Yeah. I mean, I had to get Lincoln number 1. I mean, come on. Lincoln's literally the first president to become a Republican ever. And this guy, I mean, if there was one president I think that America would need to have more of, it would be Lincoln. 100%. I mean, dude, the thing about Lincoln what made him a good president was that Lincoln picked his own rivals to be his cabinet picks. He picked people like Solomon Chase. Definitely, yeah. Washington's the best. Lincoln's number 2. Roosevelt's, in my opinion, it's probably Teddy Roosevelt number 3. FDR number 4. 5 would probably be Ronald Reagan. That's just my opinion, though. I'm a massive Reagan fan. Who cares? Abortion's murder! Yeah, definitely. I mean, if I had to give you my only downside about Reagan, though, would have to be like sometimes he could be too conservative. You know what I mean? I mean, like Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt in his earlier years was very conservative on his beliefs, but later in life he became more progressive. Reagan, I would say, in the earlier years in his life, he was like full blown. He was a liberal, then he became a conservative. But during his presidency, he became really conservative. But around like 1984, when he was running, he became like more moderate. I would say he started doing like more moderate bills. I would say he started to actually like become like similar, like more like Gerald Ford. Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely. Yeah, he didn't go water, and being didn't go to Goldwater in 1964 was a big fucking mistake, because okay, does anyone tell me what the electoral count was for Goldwater and Johnson? Oh, popular vote. 61.14 Jones. Oh. Yeah, he got his ass kicked so fucking badly that Goldwater never recovered ever after that. And also, I mean, like, what the fuck were the Republicans expecting? To win? The fuck? This is like running. This is like having Robert Taft run against FDR in 1940. Why? No. I'm sorry. This is like the Democrats trying to run against Ronald Reagan in 1984. It's ridiculous. Why? Why would you put up a guy who said, this is a direct quote, who said, we have so many. That's true. I would say he did become liberal. He did. I mean, I'm not negative again. I don't hate Goldwater as a person. I just think that he did not run. I just think that he ran a pretty bad campaign. I mean, yeah, he did become very liberal over after leaving Senate. If I'm correct, I think Goldwater supported gay marriage. He supported allowing homosexuals to join the military. He became pro-weed, basically, like the legalized weed, basically. And I also think he also supported abortion. Yep. Yeah. I do think that. Yeah, I do think that he actually was. I mean, I've always had Goldwater in a more nuanced stance, I would say. I mean, I do think some of Goldwater's policies in 1964 were a little bit too conservative for my take. But I do think Goldwater actually was like a good man who actually like wanted the best for his country. And you know, and you can make a point talk about like, oh, he was conservative, he wanted to do this and that. Well, at least at least his opinions changed over time. At least he didn't just become. Yeah, they were. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Goldwater and JFK were like. Let's think. Yeah. They were like very close friends. Very, very close friends. There's a story before where JFK and Goldwater used to sit on a rocking chair. They used to discuss about their presidential runs. They had a chance to run. And Kennedy used to say like if he ever ran against Goldwater, he would always like run a more moderate campaign, be like more nice to Goldwater. And when Goldwater said how he would run, he said he would be conservative, but he also would say that he would respect Kennedy during the campaign deeply. So yeah, their relationship were very good. Yeah. I mean, Goldwater did send flowers to Kennedy's wife, Jackie Kennedy, after his death, which was really nice. Yes. No, it did not. Oh my God. I'm gonna win, guys. Who's ready? Ready, guys? Let's pray. What was your guys' favorite Reagan? Retro. What was your favorite Reagan speech? My favorite was his speech that he gave at the was the speech he gave before the last weeks before the presidential campaign in 1980. I also like his 1981 inauguration speech, but what about you? Let's go, Ross Perot! Let's go! Ross Perot! Ross Perot! Ross Perot! Ross Perot! Let's go! Ross for the boss! Ross for the boss! Ross for the boss! Ross for the boss! Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, they were fucking amazing. I mean, Reagan was one of those people that like he could move an entire crowd just by speaking. I mean, a lot of people just said that like when you heard Reagan speak, a lot of people who actually heard Reagan speak for the first time, like in their room, then he could change an entire room. I mean, the room could be full of the most liberal people of all time. Reagan gave a speech about patriotism, and all of them would just start tearing up and crying. I mean, that's how. I mean, think for FDR. FDR could give a speech about about government in front of a bunch of conservatives, and they would just start to tear up themselves. Oh my god! Oh my god! We win! We won! Yes! 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 I did it! I did it! Bro! Oh my god! I've tried to run. I have tried to win as Ross Perot nearly 10 times, even on the most easiest mode, and I couldn't do it, and I did it. Oh my god! Oh my god! I did it, and I. Oh my god! Yes. Hopefully, you can veto NAFTA and make America great again. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I'm serious. Oh my god. Sorry. Oh, the chickaboo. Yeah, FDR was a great speaker. Communist FDR. Communist FDR. Communist. What's your favorite FDR speech? This is my favorite. Oh yeah, this is a classic. Definitely. I love FDR's D-Day speech because it's such a good speech and it's stayed infamy. It's a speech that was a perfect response to such a terrible attack. And this speech right here is a speech that great speech. Who's the worst communicator as president? I'm saying Trump because he's definitely Trump. Definitely Trump. Definitely. Like, okay, I'm sorry, but like a lot of people act like Trump's a good speaker. He's not. He's not like a fucking good speaker. Listen to a Trump speech and then read the transcript. It's terrible. It's terrible. I mean, this guy when Trump gives a speech, he'll give a speech about like did you see his one speech he gave like at the Navy Academy? Yeah, exactly, bro. Dude, when I listen to a speech of him, it sounds like he's about to have a fucking stroke. He's like, I mean, at his Navy Academy speech, I think he talked about like we could have won Vietnam. We could have won Vietnam. We were stronger. We were tougher. And I'm like, you dodged the draft like 5 times. Yeah. Biden's the bad speaker himself. Yeah, definitely. Definitely bad speaker. Yeah, exactly, bro. I love Trump's speeches. I love Trump's Navy Academy speech where he was talking about like we could have won Vietnam, we could have won Iraq, we could have won in Korea if it wasn't for those goddamn liberal governments destroying our country, weak military. And I'm like, you dodged the draft 5 times. Every time you got drafted into the military, you immediately said, I have bone spurs. Or said, I have a bad back. Yeah. Oh, definitely, bro. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Vietnam was unwinnable. I mean, I would say LBJ was a terrible mistake to join Vietnam. But, I mean, terrible mistake, I would say. But, there's no way we could win in Vietnam. There's no way. Like, what the fuck is that about? If we were tougher, we'd have more bombs. Literally, if we dropped a nuclear bomb in Vietnam, I think they would have still won. Oh yeah. Oh shit. Is your uncle okay? Is your uncle still alive? Hey man, thanks for your family's service during Vietnam. Yeah, my grandpa got drafted into Vietnam, but he actually never served because he had a extremely bad he had a bad back condition. Yeah, it was I think it was like 1966 when he got drafted, and he told me, yeah. Yeah, I mean definitely, but he got my grandpa got drafted into Vietnam in 1966 when he was like 26 years old. He had already this was before he had my dad. I'm technically, my parents, I don't know, my parents had me when like they were like much older. But this is before he had my dad, and he got drafted into Vietnam in 1966. He knew how bad Vietnam was, but he still got drafted because he was like 26 years old. But he was getting on the car, the truck to like go to the station. When all of a sudden we're taking off, he experienced like this like very bad incident where he fell off the truck and actually hit his back like on the concrete. And the doctors revealed that he actually had like a very severe back condition, which means like every time like he would bend over, every time he would like move like in a certain direction, his back would be like in excruciating pain. So they told him that you cannot join in Vietnam. You cannot serve. His father had served. Oh yeah, he's fine. He's fine. He's still alive. He's still alive. Yeah, he's like 80. He's like 85. Sorry, 84. I'm sorry, 84. Yeah, he's doing okay. Yeah. It definitely. I mean, Vietnam definitely. Vietnam deeply affected him because one of his friends that he had was killed. Was actually killed by a Viet Cong. Was killed by a Viet Cong. Yeah, the Viet Cong was on like a sniper, and shot him. I do think that it. Yeah. It definitely was tragic. Yeah, it is definitely tragic. Yeah. He became an advocate of getting out of Vietnam by 1967, I would say, because when Vietnam first started, he thought that Vietnam would be a winnable war. By around 1968, after his friend's death, he became like a massive critic of it. And in 1972, he voted for Nixon because Nixon said he would get out of Vietnam, which did happen under Ford, which is why he kept on voting Republican afterwards. But if you ask, but I want to ask him real quick, what made him more Republican? And he told me, he told me that it had to do with the way the economy was under Jimmy Carter. That's made him more conservative. Before that, he was more liberal and more moderate. But after how bad the economy was under Jimmy Carter, he became really, really more conservative. He's a good man. He's still alive. FDR, another wrong. It was rigged. Action now. There will be a great Ku Klux Klan. My favorite Woodrow Wilson quote is this: "We must make the world safe for democracy. We also have to make the world more safe for dictatorship." Dictatorship now. Dictatorship's good. I love dictatorship. That's what I get to exactly, bro. Yeah, it's like his most famous quote. We have to make the world safe for democracy. It's like the only good thing he ever said. Everything else he ever said was just bullshit. The sovereign people, the sovereign preservation. And then there at once came to great existence a great Ku Klux Klan. Does anyone want to tell me what that quote was about? The KKK, yeah. Oh, sorry, bro. Wait, hold up. Yo, bro. Let me try the one Reagan speech that I always like. Speech. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, but my top 3 favorite Reagan speeches of all time would have to be Time of Choosing, 1964, his inauguration speech, and then the Tear Down the Wall. His Time for Choosing speech, his inauguration speech, and then his Tear Down the Wall. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Yeah. Definitely, Bo. Yeah, it's a fantastic speech. Definitely. I mean, when I first listened to the speech for a time, I just thought it was going to be random bullshit talking about, like, small government. And I listened to it. And my first time listening to the speech, I was, man, Reagan's completely right. He's completely right about everything. He talks about you know, patriotism, and talks about, like, communism and socialism and type of stuff. And he talks about it going on and on. He talks about, like, you know, all the sacrifice these men have made, all this death caused by all this chaos, basically. And, you know, before I listened to the speech, I was not a big Reagan fan. I thought Reagan was an okay president. I thought Reagan was more like in his C tier. And when I listened to the speech, my opinion of Reagan changed immediately. Another person I knew about, but I had no great respect for, was Henry Clay. Does anybody want to tell me? What's your opinion of Henry Clay? What's your opinion of Henry Clay? Oh, definitely, bro. I love Henry Clay, and there's nobody. I mean, okay, if I had to give you my top 5 favorite orators, wait, I said orator or orator, orators based on, like, government. Number 5, I would have to say Henry Clay. Number 4, I would have to say Ronald Reagan. Number 3, these are based on politics. JFK. Number 2, FDR. Number 1, Daniel Webster. Oh, sorry, number 2, Daniel Webster. Number 1, FDR. Webster was a great speaker. I mean, okay, I went to Henry Clay's house in Kentucky, and my first time going there, I had no idea who Henry Clay was. No, I'm not saying that. I knew who Henry Clay was. I knew that he was the Speaker of the House. I knew he was a senator from Kentucky. I knew he was the Secretary of State, but I had no idea what his impact was. And then I learned about Henry Clay. I learned that his son, Henry Clay Jr., was killed in the Mexican-American War. I learned about his system, the American system. I mean, we both live in Ohio. I think he lives near the Canton, Ohio, which is where William McKinley lives. And I live in Cuyahoga, County. So I live in Summit County. Yeah. While I was at Kentucky, I think I also visited Cassius Clay's house. Does everyone remember what Cassius, the Cassius Clay, when I learned about Cassius Clay, I thought this guy was not real. I mean, the time I heard this guy had a cannon installed in his house when he was like in his in his 90s. And he fired at the police officer, fired at the sheriff who was trying to take him away. This guy used to do with people for stepping on his shoe. I mean, this man was a complete savage. And I just thought to myself, no, this is a joke. This man does not exist. There's gotta be some, stunt that was like created to like make this guy look a badass. And then I went to his house and I saw all the guns this guy had, and I actually saw the cannon that he actually did use, like the real life cannon at his house. And then I saw like the letters he wrote, and I was like, this man's a fucking demon. So this man's a fucking savage. Holy shit. I mean, can you imagine storing a cannon outside of your house, and then every time the police officers come near it, you just start firing. Oh my god. Oh, hold up. Yeah, let's see. I went to Kentucky a couple months ago, and let's see. I visited Henry Clay's house, Cassius Clay, Lincoln's house, Lincoln Museum. I also visited the Battle of Richmond, which is like not well-known battle. It's a very famous battle in that area. And then I think I also visited what else? I think I also visited Mary Todd Lincoln's house. She sucks though. There'll be no trouble, Lord. Happy days are here again. The sun is shining great again. right, Reagan. Reagan bad. Reagan bad. Go Trump. What's your hold up, Retro? What's your favorite Reagan moment? Ronald Reagan. Reagan. a respectable speech about Henry Clay.
Speech on Henry Clay. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to speak about one of America's most important statesmen, Henry Clay, known as the Great Compromiser. Henry Clay was born in 1777 in Virginia and rose from humble beginnings to become one of the most respected leaders in the United States during the early 19th century. He served as a congressman, senator, and secretary of state. Throughout his long career, Clay was guided by one goal: to keep the nation strong, united, and peaceful. He believed deeply in what he called the American system, a plan to help the United States grow economically and stay independent. His system encouraged building roads and canals, creating a national bank, and protecting American industries from tariffs. They wanted every part of the country, north, south, and west, to share in prosperity. But Henry Clay is remembered for
Yeah, what's up, Retro? You still here? Retro, you still here, bro? Daddy Retro. What do you guys want to do? Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, sorry about that, bro. I didn't. Yeah, bro. I just got sorry, bro. I just got done watching the Reagan speech. What's up, Retro? Let's see. Hold up. Democrat propaganda. Do you guys want to do tier list? Should I do a tier list after I finish this video? Bad. Bad. All right, guys. Today we'll be doing a tier list on presidents. Here's my rule. Number 1. All right. What do you guys want to put? Retro, what do you want to put? All right. I got a tier list on presidents. What do you guys want to put George Washington at on this list of presidents? Right there, yeah. Yes, that's there. Sorry. Come on, somebody. S tier. All right, next one. John Adams. We have A tier, B tier, B minus, C tier, C plus, C minus, D plus, D, F. What do you want to put him? I'm gonna say C tier. Just C tier. Be good. And where is he? And this is too big with your list. We're going to put John Adams at John Adams. I'm gonna say C tier for Adams. Oh yeah, okay. Let's do. Let's do B tier. What about Thomas Jefferson? What do you guys want to? Retro. What do you want to put Thomas Jefferson at? I'm gonna say A tier for me. Yeah, definitely. A tier is definitely a good pick. All right, James Madison. I'm gonna say B tier for me too. C tier. Let's compromise it and just say, all right, what do you not like about James Madison? And then I'll tell you what I don't like about him. I blame him for starting the. I blame him for escalating the 1812 war. You know what? What put him in C tier? Yeah, C tier. All right, James Monroe. What do you want to play James Monroe? Monroe. A B A S D F. Yeah, definitely. All right, next one we have John Quincy Adams. We want to put What do you want? I'm gonna give John Quincy Adams a C tier. The Terror of an Abomination was a terrible idea. Terrible of abominations. Because that complete, and you know me, I hate tariffs. I hate them. No, it's fine to have your own opinion. No, everybody has their own opinion, but for me, I've always had a negative view of tariffs. I don't know what it is. It's just I just don't like them. You know what? No, let's give them C tier. Yeah, C tier. All right, next one. Andrew Jackson. We want to put Andrew Jackson at. Is he on this fucking list? Oh, crap. I put Miller. Oh, I put Martin Van Buren. Shit. Fuck. God damn it. Where's he? God, they all look the fucking same. Shit. Oh, thanks. Next up, Eisenhower. Oh, there it is. Alright, thanks. Alright, thanks, Retro. Next one, Andrew Jackson. We know about Andrew Jackson at. And besides the Trail of Tears, I would say he was pretty okay. Wait, actually, no, he fucking sucked. Yeah, he fucking sucked ass. I mean, this guy was a fucking psychopath. This guy, he refused to establish a national bank, which basically caused that. He also started Clinton Silver, which helped contribute to the 1837 panic that took office after his predecessor took office. He was a complete dictator. He opposed Supreme Court decisions and called them bullshit. So I'm gonna have to give him a D tier. Okay. Can I give you the one positive thing Jackson did? Paid paid off the national debt completely. Oh, no, God, oh, Hickory. Oh, okay, fine, D tier. I hate old Hickory. Yeah, that's true. He did. I mean, yeah, he did handle the notification crisis, and plus, he also was the only president to pay off the national debt, which I do think is very impressive. The national debt was like $20 million, and he paid it off completely. It remained paid off until until Martin Van Buren got in office. Goddamn Martin Van Buren. All right, what do you want to put Martin Van Buren at? I'm gonna say he goes in D tier. I had him on my worst presidents list. Yeah, oh, F. Yeah, I would say F tier. Yeah, I'm sorry, F tier. I had Martin Van Buren on my worst president tier list of all time. He was like a number 6. Because his handle of the Panic of 1847 was fucking ass. It was booty. It was terrible. I mean, he completely handled it in such a terrible list. I mean, it happened. I mean, you can talk about like, yeah, it happened like a couple months when he took office, and he had no idea how he could control it. Deadass. Yeah, he was. He was like he was like the Hoover of the 19th centuries, disliked by everyone. I mean, listen, he won the 1846 election just campaigning on Jackson's policies, and then in 1840, William Henry Harrison just ran a campaign talking about how bad he was as a president and won, and then Harrison died like a month into office. So F tier. All right, what do you want to put William? You know what? For William Henry Harrison. Never mind. He goes in the never mind tier. Never now. Never. He goes in the NA. Bro, he died like a month into office. Has an excellent path. He did. Yeah, he did. I mean, he did with Henry because, but like we also gotta mention that like he was only president for like a month. Bro got killed by the damn tap water. Bro got killed by the Washington D.C. water. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, bro. Yeah. All right. What do you want to put John Tyler at? F tier. Yeah. DC was a fucking DC sucked. One thing, real quick. Okay, so Harrison died a month ago. Yeah. Fuck Tyler. I had him on my top 10 worst presidents list, and why I said we worst president because number 1, he's the only president ever to be elected to Confederate Congress, but died before getting in office. And if you do visit his grave, they actually buried him with a Confederate flag. Yeah, he was in the Union. I'm saying what about Franklin Pierce and James Buchanan and Millard Fillmore, but at least Martin Van Buren, but at least they actually stayed with the Union. I mean, James Buchanan himself became an advocate for the Union during the Civil War. Same for Millard Fillmore. He still supported the Union all across it. All right. Tyler's the one there. She said, "You know what? Go to the South. I love the South." Yep. F tier for Tyler. I mean, guy fucked it all up. He fucked it. He was so hated by his own fucking party. His party kicked him out. All right. What about James K. Polk? I'm gonna give him an A tier for Polk. I like Polk. I really do because he only served for 1 term, but he kept all his promises. Does anyone tell me what? Definitely. Yep. Poke A tier. Yep. Does anyone want to tell me what some of Poke's campaign promises were? I kind of forgot. I do know. I think he said he would only serve one term. He would increase America's territory size, and he also said that he would create a bank, like a secondary bank, not like a national bank, but like a secondary bank. Oh, the Piccolo. I put Poke F tier. He sucks. All right, next one. Yep, lowered tariffs, conquered southwest of Mexico, negotiated Oregon Trail, the UK, created the national bank. Yep, definitely. Yeah, and ran one for only one shot. Yep, he definitely deserved that A tier ranking. Definitely deserved that A tier ranking. Definitely. All right, next one. Zachary Taylor. Can you name me one thing he did as president? Oh, that's a big. Wait, I got question. Okay, what's your opinion of Henry Clay? You know about what's bit about, but I'm gonna have to give him I'm gonna give him a never an NA tier because he technically only served for like a year and then died. So really wasn't that present for such a long time. Sorry about that. All right, next one. Miller. Oh, F tier. Yeah. F tier all the way. Fuck Miller Fillmore. Alec Baldwin, we can ask. Bitch. God. Fucking sucked ass. I mean, yeah, I see that. Nah, yeah. Bro, does anyone... Okay, the Fugitive Slave Act is one of those bills where, like, it sucked ass. It completely sucked ass. Okay? It basically allowed sovereign states to send out bounty hunters to capture free slaves that escaped from their masters in northern states. So, like, let's say you're living in Vermont, right? A free state. All of a sudden, a sovereign bounty hunter come up and say, "We're looking for a damn free slave that escaped from Georgia. You got to help us out because according to this law, it's necessary." And you're forced to help him out. I mean, this man made the situation worse. Okay, the biggest issue of the time between 1804 to 1861 was slavery. It was the biggest issue. It was slavery. It was the biggest issue in the country. It was always slavery. The Missouri Compromise of 1820, the Compromise of 1850. I mean, these were just meant to stop it, but they didn't stop it. They just made everything worse. So definitely F tier. What do you want to put Pierce at? F tier. Little bitch boy. Yeah, F tier. Bro, imagine being such a bad president that you were kicked out by your own fucking party. You weren't even nominated. You got nominated in 1850s, nominated in 1852. He was a drunk. He was, and also Mr. Beat. Also, Mr. Beat also hates him. Yeah, he said the Kansas Nebraska Act was a terrible fucking law. Oh my god, bleeding Kansas. I mean, hundreds of people died in Kansas because of his fucking policies. And then what's about it? He was a Northerner, but he was extremely pro-slavery. I mean, this guy probably jacked off to pro-slavery porn. Everybody hates Franklin Pierce, except exactly, bro. Monster Z will find a way to defend anybody. This guy will make a video about defending fucking Hitler. You know, Hitler actually was kind of right about some issues. Like you can make a point about like you can defend Benjamin Harrison, you can defend Hayes, you can defend Harding, you can defend you can defend some presidents, but defending Pierce is like impossible. But somehow he'll be able to do it. He'll make some like bullshit argument talking about. No, don't. All my homies know I love Grant. Oh my god. Grant definitely goes in a B tier for me. Maybe S, maybe A tier. I love Grant. Yeah, bruh. I'm not kidding, bro. I actually watched a video, bro. And I actually see his opinion on why he would vote for Herbert Hoover in 1942, and he said because Grant's a go. Go Grant. Vote for Grant. Yeah, I love Grant. Grant did nothing wrong. I mean, can I name my favorite Grant policies of all time? He created the Department of Justice to go after the KKK. He signed multiple civil rights acts. You could say that he was corrupt, but he technically was not corrupt in the sense that he actually was. He was more foolish and trusting people than he was physically corrupt himself. He was a great man who served women who defeated the South so badly the South had to make up a fucking lie, talking about the lost cause myth, basically. And not to mention, he was elected by a landslide and almost could have won a third term if it wasn't for the 1880 nomination, which was split up and went to Garfield, which I do love Garfield. Yeah, exactly. Grant killed the Klan, liberated the freedmen. That's why he hates him. He was puppet for the radical Republicans. Exactly. How the fuck is that a bad thing, bro? The liberal Republicans, the radical Republicans, they were baller. They were amazing. Oh my god. I mean, they took no shit for nothing. Talking about, bro, I watched his video how he voted, and then I saw his video about like why he voted for Herbert Hoover in 1942, and he said because he believed that Hoover could maintain the economy. Bro, he said he would vote for Herbert Hoover in 1932. I can't. Why? What? Bro, you have what? You have the bonus on my march. Oh, I hate prohibition. I love alcohol. I can't drink, but I still don't support prohibition. I think it's stupid. Sorry, but what do you want to put James Buchanan at? F tier. You know what? F. Yeah! Fuck Buchanan! Fuck him! Alright, we want to put Abraham Lincoln at S tier. S tier, yeah! Hey, bro, what do you think the one guy Monzer Z would say about Lincoln? On, like a tier list. He'll probably make an argument talk about, like, Lincoln was a dictator. Was a tyrant, and actually was a demon straight from hell. So he thinks Lincoln's a dictator, but he thinks Trump's not. Listen, first off, the difference between Trump and Lincoln, based on like why they were different, was number one, Lincoln was in a damn civil war. Z. Yeah, exactly, bro. Monster Z, Lincoln was in a damn civil war. He had to do what he had to do to maintain the Union. Alright? And so what if he punished the fucking South a little bit? So what if he deported some of the damn sovereign, damn Confederate supporters and sent them straight to the South where they belong? Alright? It was his natural duty to do that. Alright? And so what? He freed the fucking slaves! Exactly! This man, bro, his fault. I mean, bro, you can tell me right now that Lincoln's a dictator, but Trump, come on, bro. Trump can literally nuke Greenland. Alright? And he would still defend him. Imagine if Lincoln nuked Greenland. What do you think he would say? Lincoln's gone too far. How dare he nuke Greenland? Trump nukes Greenland. President Donald Trump nuked Greenland. Yay! Yay! We need Greenland. We need Greenland. I can. What do you want to put? You know what? We want to put Andrew Johnson, F tier. Andrew Johnson, F tier probably. Yeah, F tier. I would definitely say F tier. Where's he at? Where's he at? F tier. Oh, I can't find him. Oh, there he is. Yeah, exactly, bro. How the fuck is Reagan a fake conservative? How? And Trump's not. Trump's a real conservative. Listen, first off, Trump is an opportunist to the core. He's an opportunist because he takes advantage of which factor he talks about. You understand how Trump works. You understand. Yeah. Exactly! How the fuck are you not a real conservative? How the fuck a real conservative would never do that? A real conservative understands the balance under the property of a balanced budget. Alright? Look up Trump's big beautiful bill. Alright? You know how much money he added to the national debt? $8 trillion because of all the fucking tax cuts he's doing. Alright? And I'm talking about the economy's doing good. The economy's shit. Yeah, exactly. I would say, yeah, Reagan increased the debt, but he was in a Cold War, so he had to. Trump's not in a fucking Cold War. Trump's not. Definitely. Yeah, but I don't understand, but how the fuck can people like Monster Z defend Trump even though the economy's not doing so good? It's still doing bad. I mean, that's like me defending Herbert Hoover by 1932. Yeah, we're technically depression. Yes! God, I lived through COVID, probably as we all did. And the economy was so fucking bad. I mean, the stock market was down. The unemployment rate was like 16%. Inflation was low, but like, so what? It was fucking low. I mean, during the Great Depression, inflation was like negative, and the economy was still bad. All right, and now every fucking Republican forgot about that. Every fucking Republican who voted for Trump forgot about that. It's like they have, yeah. The unemployment rate was 14.5%, which is the highest in the exactly. How the fuck do they still decide? The unemployment was 14.5%, but I'm still gonna vote for him. What? Well, he handled everything bad. He's handling the Ukraine war terribly. Oh my god. God damn. I mean, on the Ukraine war, he handles it like a fucking dumbass. Yeah, exactly. What do you want to put Grant at? A tier? B tier? I'm gonna give Grant a B tier. No, A tier. A tier for Grant. Grant's a GOAT. Yeah, A tier! I love Grant! Next one. Ruther B. Hayes. What do you want to put Ruther B. Hayes at? Bro, what the hell? Oh, Hayes! Hayes! Harrison's pet dead cow. All the way. Harrison's dead cow. 100%. James A. Garfield goes in, never announced. What about Chester A. Arthur? What do you want to put Chester A. Arthur tier at? Yeah. What about Chester A. Arthur? B for Arthur. B, yeah, I love Arthur. B for Arthur. B for Arthur. B for Arthur now. B for Arthur. B for Arthur. B for Arthur. Next one, Grover Cleveland. A tier. Honest Grove. Big Jumbo. Love Grover Cleveland. Good man. Good, honest man. The economy sucked though under his presidency, but at least he actually was a good man. No, that's fake news. That's fake news. It's fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. That's not true at all. No, not true at all. Fake, made up. That's Democrat propaganda. Wait, fuck. Cleveland was a Democrat. Sorry. That's Republican propaganda. Don't believe everything you hear on TV, kids. Cleveland was a good man. He was a good patriot. The economy was bad though under his presidency. So, but what do you want to put Cleveland at? I'm gonna say like C tier. Yeah, B tier definitely. Yeah. Alright, well, let's do B tier. Yeah. Next one. Benjamin Harrison. BH. Sherman antitrust law. Support for veteran. That's bad. Sorry. All right. We want to put Harrison at. I'm gonna say C tier. I mean, he did marry his cousin though, but that was common. And besides the Wounded Massacre, which was really bad. Oh, what was the Sherman antitrust law? That bill was good though. My boy John Sherman supported that. Love John Sherman. And I mentioned his support for veteran for support. Yeah, that was Sherman's law was excellent. The Sherman law was an amazing bill. I mean, John Sherman himself had no idea how influential the bill would be. He just thought the bill was just gonna be okay. All right. I don't. Let's just give him a. I don't have a C plus, but we'll just give him a C tier. How does that sound? Yep. Never mind. D tier. Never mind. D tier. I fucking hate tariffs. Sorry about that. Wait, no. I'm gonna be nuanced and give him a C tier. C tier. Yeah, C tier for him. All right, next one. William McKinley! Oh, William McKinley! A tier! A tier! A tier! A tier! I love McKinley! All right, next one. Teddy was about S tier. S tier all the way for Teddy Roosevelt. Yeah! Yeah, I love Teddy Roosevelt. Bro got shot in the chest and still gave a speech. Still finished his speech. That's some big balls energy. All right. Next one we have is William Howard Taft. Hey. A tier for him. A tier for Taft. A tier for Taft. Wait. I must say B tier because the whole panic Arctic tariff, and also because he kind of want to be nice real quick, but they kind of, what's negotiating say B tier? But let's say high. We'll do high B. All right, next one. Oh boy, we got a new tier. Wilson's teeth. There it is, guys. We got it. A new tier list for Woodrow Wilson. It's called Wilson's teeth. Next one we have Warren F. F for Hardin. F for Hardin. F. Wallaby Hardin. Wallaby Hardin. Wallaby. Yeah. Does anybody? I think my favorite Hardin quote of all time is probably. Probably had to be. Let's see. He had this like famous quote. I always like his one quote he ever had. I think he said like, I don't deserve to be president, and I have never should have been elected in this office. Yeah, he sucked ass. Teapot Dome scandal. Cheated on his wife and then birthed a child. Real story. Yep, definitely. Wood should have won. Go Wood. I love Wood. Big Wood. Man, Wood did nothing wrong. Alright, what about Calvin Coolidge? A tier or S tier? B tier. Yeah, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Ah, Coolidge! Alright, I'm putting next one we have Herbert Hoover F. But I'm putting him in Wilson's teeth. Wilson's teeth tier. Next one, FDR S tier for FDR. Maybe we can negotiate A tier. I mean, the New Deal, World War II. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I'm gonna give him an A tier. You doing, Bug? Fuck. Sorry, bro. Fucked it up. Yeah, A tier definitely for FDR. I mean, he did basically found the common. He did found the common idea of America now. Next one, Harry Truman. A tier. That is my opinion, though. Oh God! What the fuck? What the fuck, Grove? What the hell? Why? Why would you do that? Just marry an already older woman. You were like 44. The fuck? Oh my God, that's like when Harrison married his younger cousin, Benjamin Harrison. But I still like him because it's Sherman antitrust law, so I don't care. Gross! Creep. Next one, Harry Truman, A tier. Yeah! Eisenhower. 3, 2, 1. John F. Kennedy, B tier. John F. Kennedy. Oh yeah, B tier. Definitely Kennedy. All my homies. All my fellas. Next one we have LBJ. Besides Vietnam, yeah, I did. I could tell you're Reagan conservatives, and Reagan conservatives hate Johnson. But for me, I'm gonna have to give him a higher tier because of a lot of his accomplishments. Medicare, Medicaid, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Head Start, which started like education for African American children all across the country. Not to mention, you also make an argument and say that Vietnam was kind of more like the fault. Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give him. You know, I'm gonna be respectful and give him a B tier. You know what? No. I'm gonna give him a C tier. Below Kennedy, though. Below Kennedy. Just saying because of Vietnam and so that, but I still. Actually, no. You know what? No. Vietnam gets him down a little bit. Yeah, C tier. That's more respectable. It's more like it. Nixon. A tier. Nixon, A! Nixon now to find a way. That's what I'm talking about. Nixon. Nixon did nothing wrong. That was all made up. Nixon was innocent. Never actually happened. Made up. Fake news. It was all lies. It's all lies. They betrayed him. They covered it up to give Nixon in trouble. Run away. Make a dream. Reality. Right. Yeah, Watergate did. Yeah, the manufacturing. You know what? See there. Next one, Jerry Ford. Jerry Ford. We don't put Jerry Ford Act. Be there. Yeah, that's a good dick. That's a good pick. Next one, Jimmy Carter. F. No, D tier. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm actually on special education myself, so I gotta get Gerald Ford a B tier because of that. And I also not to mention he was a good. I also like Gerald Ford because he's a good man, honest patriot. You could argument say that he pardoned Nixon, but he pardoned Nixon because he wanted the country to heal. Oh, and he also created something called the Safe Drinking Water Act, which basically established. Yeah, man, I love Jerry Ford. Great man, great patriot. Sorry, Jerry Ford was a great guy, but he had a tough time being president. He could have won re-election if it wasn't for pardon Nixon. He could have won. Yeah, Carter. I feel very good Carter detail though because even though he deregulated some of the systems, there was still stagflation, and his response to the his response to the Iran hostage was really bad. And you also could say that he kind of expanded the government. Yeah. All right, next one. 3, 2, 1. The Gipper. Reagan S. Reagan. No! Talking about. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Reagan, number 1. All right. Next one. Bush Senior. C tier. Okay, wait, no, B tier. American Disability Act was a fucking fantastic bill. I'm gonna say B tier because the American Disability Act. Yeah, that one definitely. I'm gonna say B tier because the American Disability Act. That was like a fantastic bill. Oh, definitely. Yeah. Even though some very conservative Republicans like Jesse Helms themselves opposed the bill because they thought like it would be spend too much money. It was a fantastic bill, though. It was a fantastic bill. It needed to be done. Yep, definitely. Yep. Oh, 100%. Bob Dole. I put Bob Dole on my top 10 tier list. I put him at number 10 on my list. Yeah, the American Disability Act, yeah, definitely for Bob Dole would have to go on that list because without Bob Dole, it wouldn't get passed. He's the one that actually was able to convince the Republicans to vote for it because the Republicans were already opposed a lot to the procedures, but Bob Dole was the one who actually got it. My number one pick was Henry Clay. No, I should have picked Robert Little. I should have picked Robert Little. I should have picked George Norris. And, you know, we all make mistakes. B tier for Bush because besides his handling of the Rodney King riots, good. He was a good president. I think he was a good president, I would say. The economy, though, was not that good under his presidency, but at least he actually was a good man and actually was a good person. Not like nowadays, where most people are just nowadays most politicians are the most scummy ass people on fucking planet Earth. Yeah. He also ended the Cold War. Was he? American Disability Act, which basically established that people with disabilities have the right. Wait, hold up. Retro, can you explain to me what the American Disability Act was in a quick second? I kind of forgot. Bill Clinton. NAFTA. Yep. All right. A tier. So, nah, actually, no. B tier. Be nice. B tier. Bill Clinton. Billy Bob. Slick. Modernization. For Bill Clinton, I'm gonna say C tier. For Bill Clinton, NAFTA was a terrible law. It fucking sucked ass. And it did destroy my home state of Ohio. Completely fucking destroyed it. Yeah. B tier, that's respectful, yeah. Also, you can also say the Family Medical Leave Act was really good, which was true. The Family Medical Leave Act was a fantastic bill, and same for the Brady bill. But, you know, I'm still going to argue and say that, like, because I'm from Ohio, and Ohio, NAFTA destroyed our state badly. Super badly. I mean, a lot of our jobs went overseas basically because of it. And we lost so many manufacturing here, basically. Yep. Completely fucking destroyed it. And it also made unions, like, in my opinion, unions have always been, definitely. Man, I live Perot, but my opinion of unions have always been positive because I've always had a nuanced opinion of unions. My opinion have always been like that, like, yeah, they're good if they're good because like they give you benefits and they help you out like in a tough time, but they can be bad if like they like do like some bad stuff like threaten the boss or like smash windows and stuff. But because of NAFTA, unions have completely gone out completely. Kind of. I mean, that's kind of like a. Well, I feel like without unions, many workers would have terrible conditions. Like, let's not forget. Like, nearly 90 years ago, we had something called we have something called child labor, which thank the Lord is gone now. And we also had like no minimum wage and no workers' rights basically. So unions can be bad if like they're run by a bad person, but unions can be good if they're just there to help the workers. So Bill Clinton, B tier. Next one, George W. Bush. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're run by bad people. F. Obama. We want to put Obama at D tier. Yeah, I'm not gonna put Obama in F tier. Trump. Sorry, but what about Trump? F. I hate Trump. Yeah. Wilson's teeth. Fantastic list I just did. Oh man, fantastic list. Nixon. Hold on, let me show you this real quick. Yo, chat. Kill out. Oh God! He would put every president I picked in S tier and F tier probably, and then put Trump in S tier, 100%. He would. He 100% would. He would find a way to put Trump in S tier. Yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. If you saw my list, and he said he would call my list dumb and communism and stupid, and he put my list in S tier and F tier, and put every president I put in A tier, F tier, S tier, F tier, B tier, F tier. He would pick Trump in S tier. Then he would pick Wilson to be in S tier too. Franklin to be in S tier. James Buchanan to be in S tier. Yeah, he would pick all the presidents to be in S tier. Oh yeah, we should.
Best presidential election across history. Now, a friend had proposed this idea to me and I thought it'd be pretty fun, so I figured, hey, why not? Hello audience, Mr. Z here with another video for you. Channel, welcome. We have videos like this every week, so be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Let's begin with elections 1788 and 1792. Already we're going to have a couple caveats here. First and foremost, Washington is running unopposed, and even if anybody was running against Washington, why would we vote for anybody but Washington? Caveat number 2, I'm a New Yorker, and I forget if it was 88 or 92, but in one of those elections, New York forgot to submit their slate of electors, so New York votes didn't count. Caveat number 3, I technically would not be eligible to vote until I believe 1821. So I would not have been able to vote in any election between America's founding and that point in the state of New York. So these are just the presidents I'm even if I lived during that time, these are the presidents I would have voted for, but I couldn't. Either way, George Washington. Like, come on, who else are we going to vote for? Election 1796, John Adams versus Thomas Jefferson. I'm going to go with John Adams.
Yeah, me
John
too.
Adams was
Jefferson.
Washington's hand-picked successor. He honored many of Washington's policies, and I think he was a very appropriate figure to succeed Washington. Washington, of course, served without a party affiliation. Adams was a Federalist, but Washington and the Federalists had very much in common. And by the end of his life, Washington was essentially a Federalist. Election 1800 is a rematch between Jefferson and Adams. Unfortunately, Adams would not win. I would still support Adams in this election. I just don't trust Jefferson at this time. And look, I'm saying this as somebody who, in contemporary times, I like Jefferson as a figure. You know, I think he was a very intelligent man. I think he was a very capable politician. But he was the wrong man to lead America at the time.
Shut the fuck up!
America was still in its infancy. It needed a policy platform, a strategy that was going to strengthen the nation at home, make the country more self-sufficient, basically give it legs to stand on. And we were still developing that. Jefferson wanted to go in the opposite direction. He said, we need to go back to basically the system we had under the Articles of Confederation, where we were decentralizing power, giving the states more autonomy. On top of that, he was highly antagonistic toward Britain. Heck, you had good relations between the U.S. and Britain in the immediate aftermath, where you had, we were developing trade ties. We were talking about being a community. We're independent, but we're still in relations with Britain. And Jefferson comes along and says, no, we hate Britain. We hate the monarchy. Let's go France. So, I would still vote for Adams this time around. Election 1804 is going to be Jefferson versus Charles Pinckney. Pinckney is a Federalist, but he is a Southern Federalist. His policy is going to be a little bit different than Adams. If memory serves, he was a lot more pro-slavery, but the support for a strong centralized government and the building of domestic American industry, domestic American institutions, that's still being upheld. And I will support that over Jefferson's decentralization. Election 1808 is going to be Charles Pinckney versus James Madison. Once again, I'm still voting Federalist. James Madison, I guess I'm a little bit more sympathetic toward insofar as policy at the time than Jefferson, but Madison still has some serious baggage with him. He's the reason we got into the War of 1812, after all. The antagonism toward Britain needs to stop. We need to rebuild we have to have just peaceful relations with Britain. We don't need to antagonize them. We don't need to be their friend. But we don't want to instigate conflict. And what's been going on, of course, the reason we got into the War of 1812, on one hand, it was a show of force. Like, hey, don't mess with us, we're independent. And on the other hand, it was a response to Britain basically taking, supposedly, American sailors. A good deal of them were certainly American sailors, but many of them were escaped British citizens who were trying to avoid conscription. This was an issue, and it was further instigated by the hostility the Democratic Republicans had toward Britain. I blame them. I'm blaming them and their policy for this. I'm voting Federalist. Pinckney, like I said, I don't agree with all his policy, but the overarching Federalist policy I can get behind. Election 1812, we have James Madison versus DeWitt Clinton. Again, War of 1812, this is frickin' screwy. I get that a lot of people are going to support the establishment government because we're at war. We need to be patriotic. But this faction also got us into the war. This faction also instigated the conflict. Winning. There's that Grant was a terribly corrupt politician, or at the very least, he allowed for corruption to become widespread throughout his administration. I'm not voting for Grant. I don't really want to vote for Horatio Seymour, but I will vote for him in opposition to Grant just because there is no other real option. Election 1872. Once again, we have Grant running. This election is going to suck because the option isn't even a Democrat. It is a liberal Republican, and a liberal Republican who will die before, if memory serves, the electoral votes are counted or cast. So I'm going to vote for Horace Greeley, but it's ultimately...
First off, Seymour was a fucking no good north-south ass Democrat who only served in the Union because he was forced to. He supported Johnson, who was the first person to be impeached. And second off, by 1872, the economy was doing fantastic. All right, there was some scandals there and there with Grant's administration with his vice president, Sherville Colfax. His first vice president. But all around was a fantastic time. It was a good time. All right. So next time we who I would vote for. Top 10 best presidents now. He's on my number top 10.
It's ultimately futile. Election 1876. We have Rutherford B. Hayes versus Samuel Tilden. This is another caveat election because the election is going to be contested and it will be given to Rutherford B. Hayes despite Samuel Tilden getting a larger share of the popular vote. Regardless, I would probably still vote for Rutherford B. Hayes. Samuel Tilden is, if memory serves, trying to resurrect some of the old Democrat small government policy. But I don't think he makes a big point of ending Reconstruction or even speaks extensively about what to do with the South. Rutherford B. Hayes, on the other hand, does have a strategy for promoting this meritocratic system across the United States. And ultimately, he does end Reconstruction. Heck, even if we're just talking about aesthetics, Rutherford B. Hayes is a war hero. He's got a lot going on insofar as his reputation. So between the two, I'd probably vote for Hayes. Election 1880, we have James Garfield versus Winfield Scott Hancock. And Hancock also has some military prestige behind him. You know, Garfield is bringing the standard Republican fare, meritocratic policy, pro-industrial policy, that whole shebang. So, I'm not excited about either of these candidates, but I'll vote for Garfield. Election 1884, Grover Cleveland versus James Blaine. Now, this is a tricky one because Blaine is infamous for supposedly being extremely corrupt. There is no direct evidence of his corruption. It's still disputed to this day. Grover Cleveland, on the other hand, was a very anti-corruption candidate. But with that came a reversal of all the protectionist policies that the Republicans had been pushing forward to this point. We're talking free trade policy. We're talking about policy that's going to reduce the cost of goods, but is also going to hurt American industry, hurt American manufacturing, possibly cost America jobs. It's a genuinely tough call.
I don't think
because with Blaine, if he is corrupt, as somebody living in 1884, I would be afraid. I would not want to have another repeat of the Grant administration. Blaine is not going to have the same circumstances to repeat what Grant did, but still, we are trying to cull corruption. Yeah, this is tough. I think for the time I would vote for Grover Cleveland just to try to stem corruption, just eradicate it as quick as possible, and then circle back to protectionism and domestic industry as a focus. Election 1888 gives us an opportunity to have a politician who doesn't have corruption behind him, so we can get rid of Grover Cleveland and vote for Benjamin Harrison instead. Election 1892, we have a rematch between Grover Cleveland and Benjamin Harrison, as well as a agrarian populist in the form of James Weaver. I'm still going to vote for Harrison. I think his policy is fine. I think his opposition to corruption is solid. I think he'd be a solid pick. Election 1896, we have William McKinley versus William Jennings Bryan. Now, some people might say this is going to be a tough call, but it's not. William McKinley is my pick all the way. McKinley was the America First candidate before that was even a campaign slogan. We are taking all the hardcore Republican policies of the late 1800s.
Okay, first off, if McKinley's the American First candidate, then what about Trump? American First means you care about America First. Is that correct? As it means. American First means you care about America First. All right? Market number 1. Well, how much money did we send to Israel a day? How much money? Approximately $25. Yeah, the American First, yeah. It's not a bad ideology. Trump just ruined it. Yeah, exactly. I did. He made it come off as like hypocritical, as like a stupid ideology. Because number one, if you really are American first, then you would focus on American first. Trump, he's been given money. That's true. Yeah, he was. You know what? I'm gonna say McKinley though. I'm sorry for being kind of biased.
And we are intensifying them under McKinley.
Kind of biased.
I'm talking stronger tariffs. I'm talking about projecting America's strength within the American sphere, keeping American money strong, and invigorating a sense of national pride across the country. Look, William Jennings Bryan had some interesting policies for his time, but they are a mishmash of just a bunch of derivatives of Jeffersonian and Jacksonian policy that are outdated. They're perfectly sensible at the state and local level, but we can't have a government run by somebody stuck in a system that is no longer viable for the country, which was not viable for the country when it took power in 1800. We're moving forward in a more centralized, more powerful, more industrial direction. Election 1904. We have Theodore Roosevelt, and do I need to even say any more? Theodore Roosevelt's fantastic. We're going with him. Enough said. Election 1908. We have William Howard Taft versus William Jennings Bryan. Now, between these two, I'm still going to go with William Howard Taft. He was Theodore Roosevelt's handpicked successor, and despite the tension that would eventually build up between the two of them, Taft and Roosevelt really didn't have that much that was separating them. People say, oh, Taft was so much more conservative. Taft was conservative insofar as he did not want Roosevelt sweeping up massive swaths of land using executive orders. But if we're talking about trust busting, Taft busted more trusts than Roosevelt did. If we're talking about regulation, Taft enforced more regulations than Roosevelt did. The main point of contention between the two was the extent to which one could use executive power for purposes not necessarily specified. And in Roosevelt's case, this was something as benign as just, creating a bunch of public land for national parks. Taft said, look, we can't restrict the use of all this land. Some of this has valuable resources that we could use to enrich the country and our people. And Roosevelt interpreted this as, oh, you're selling out to big business so they can exploit our resources. But it wasn't that bad. Election 1912. Now, we have Woodrow Wilson versus Theodore Roosevelt versus William Howard Taft versus Eugene Debs. We have Democrats, progressives, Republicans, and socialists in this election. I'm gonna see the situation that a lot of Americans are seeing. Theodore Roosevelt has split the Republican vote. The Republicans are not going to win. There's a very slim chance that Theodore Roosevelt is going to pull enough votes from both parties to manage a victory, but odds are he's not going to do it. Still, just out of principle, I would still vote for Roosevelt. Election 1916 is going to have Woodrow Wilson versus Charles Evans Hughes, and this is a lot easier than people are going to make it out to be. No, actually not. People would still say this is easy. It's like, oh, I would vote for anybody but Wilson. But Charles Evans Hughes. Charles Evans Hughes was a large advocate for what was known as the preparedness movement.
No! Wilson's own policies. Wilson's slogan was, he kept us out of war. Hughes. Yep.
Which was basically, look, we are inevitably going to get into World War I, so we might as well start building up our military now, and so on and so
What's up,
forth.
Gio?
Very, very much interventionist,
How you
just
doing?
sort of like muddled with a bit of innuendo. Woodrow Wilson at this time, despite a lot of people saying that he was a warmonger from the start, was a strong believer that America could stay out of the war. He did not want America to be involved in foreign politics. He thought it was a dangerous idea for America to get involved in European affairs. That's why he campaigned on keeping us out of the war. Eventually, he was forced to break that promise, but during the election, he would be the anti-war candidate. I'm not a fan of foreign wars, so I'm voting Wilson this time around. Election 1920, we have Warren Harding versus James Cox. Now, I would be disillusioned with the fact that we got involved in the war. I would be disillusioned with the whole League of Nations plan.
Exactly.
And I would be hesitant to vote for another Democrat.
Whoever votes for fucking
But
Wilson is a damn genius.
Harding is also questionable. His very hands-off approach to politics, I get it. I get that America wants to retract very far. It wants to have a very strong reaction to what it just experienced, but I feel like that would be a mistake. I could go either way in this election. I do think keeping the path of progressive politics would be the right way to go. Then again, Harding offering this alternative would definitely be tempting. I could go either way, but I guess I'll say Harding. Election 1924, we have Calvin Coolidge versus John W. Davis versus Robert M. La Follette. Now, Harding's presidency would have been a lot more successful than we anticipated. I'm going to be much more inclined to support the Republican candidate. They are who I've been voting for a good long while. They're a party I trust. And, well, I didn't agree with all the policies of President Harding, but he did a good job. And Calvin Coolidge, who succeeded him, also did a good job. So who else would I vote for but Calvin Coolidge? Let's be frank, the progressive candidate probably isn't going to win, and the Democratic candidate is a heavy interventionist. So we're just going to go with the Republican this time around. Election 1928, we have Herbert Hoover versus Al Smith. We have two progressives, a Republican progressive and a Democrat progressive. And that New York nepotism is kicking in a little bit. Al Smith and I, we share some background. We might get each other a little bit. But Herbert Hoover, I think, has proven himself to be a fairly capable leader. During the Harding and Coolidge administrations, Hoover was the guy behind the scenes, pulling all the strings, making sure everything worked with what restrictions there were on him. Coolidge and Harding were very laissez-faire with their policy, but Hoover was an activist. He wanted to push forward some new progressive policy, and he was just doing all these different activities that he would earn the title Secretary of Everything. I'm going to vote for Hoover this time around. All right, election 1932, the Great Depression. Hoover has disappointed. He's made a lot of mistakes, and people are ready to find an alternative. But despite that, I would still vote Hoover, only because FDR has made clear that he does not have a plan for how he's going to tackle the Depression. Hoover, on the other hand, has been dealing with the Depression, and he has not done a good job of it.
The New Deal! Hey, the New Deal! That's his fucking plan. What was Hoover's plan? More tariffs? How did the Smooth High Tariff Act go? Huh? Crash the fucking economy, made our allies hate us. The bonus army march. Fucking using the military against our own veterans. Alright? FDR all the way.
But he is learning. He is seeing firsthand what the issue is. It doesn't make sense to change gears midway through a crisis. Best to stick with singular leadership and try to resolve this under Hoover's administration. Election 1936, we have Franklin Roosevelt versus Alf Landon. Nobody's going to vote for Alf Landon. Nobody is really interested in what Landon has to offer. I'm going to vote FDR. Election 1940, we have FDR versus Wendell Willkie. Why would I vote for Wendell Willkie? Why would I vote for FDR going at the speed limit? I'm not interested in that. Let's stick with FDR. Third term, here we go. Election 1944, FDR versus Thomas E. Dewey. We did 3 terms. Why not do 4 terms? FDR all the way. Now we have election 1948. FDR is gone. All that we have left is Harry Truman. Truman, sure, he's a New Dealer, but he's so much more of a liberal than FDR is. His priority isn't on labor, on industry, not even on like the foreign policy side of things. He just wants to focus on domestic liberal policy, and I'm not a fan of that. Thomas E. Dewey.
Want to subscribe to my channel?
I guess he's better. At least there's a chance that he's going to be a bit more conservative in his social policy, even if not by a lot. He is a liberal Republican after all. He'll probably have a firmer stance on communism, which is better. And then we have Strom Thurmond, who's a Dixiecrat, and he's probably not going to win. Between these guys, I'd probably vote Dewey. Election 1952, we have Dwight Eisenhower versus Adlai Stevenson II. Fun fact, Adlai Stevenson I was Grover Cleveland's running mate the second time around, I think. Now we have some trade-offs here. On the one hand, Eisenhower is fairly conservative. He is anti-communist, but he is a Republican New Dealer. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Adlai Stevenson, on the other hand, is a Democrat New Dealer. He has a history working with New Deal policy, so he's experienced in this, but he is very soft on communism. Heck, if memory serves, he even testified on behalf of a suspected communist during the communist trials. I genuinely do not like the foreign policy approach Eisenhower had adopted. I feel like Adlai Stevenson would at least be more domestic policy focused. Adlai Stevenson was also a massive proponent for denuclearization and friendly relations with the Soviet Union, which in the context of everything I've already said, does not sound too good. I don't want to have to choose. Screw it. We'll go with Adlai Stevenson, only because Dwight Eisenhower, he messed up the Middle East, he messed up Cuba, and he messed up Asia. Election 1956, it's a rematch between Eisenhower and Stevenson. Let's just go with Stevenson again. Why not?
No!
Election 1960, we have John F. Kennedy versus Richard Nixon. I'm not a fan of Nixon's more hands-off approach to politics. But in all fairness, Kennedy was more of a liberal when it came to things. He was still technically something of a New Dealer, but he was more hands-off himself. I'll go with Nixon. He's a more seasoned politician. I feel that America's enemies will take him more seriously, and he's more socially conservative, so we'll go with that. Election 1964, we have Lyndon B. Johnson versus Barry Goldwater. I'm not a fan of Johnson. Johnson took everything that was good about the New Deal and he perverted it into something terrible. We're just going to go with Barry Goldwater. Election 1968. We have Richard Nixon versus Hubert Humphrey versus George Wallace. After how poorly the Johnson administration went, we're not voting for a Democrat. We're going to go with Richard Nixon. Election 1972, we have Richard Nixon versus George McGovern. This was a wipeout for McGovern. Or rather, I should say, McGovern got wiped out. Richard Nixon, all the way. We've already explained why. Oh boy. Election 1976. Jimmy Carter versus Gerald Ford. I genuinely don't want to vote for either of them. Election 1980. Ronald Reagan versus Jimmy Carter, and John B. Anderson is an independent. I have a hard time getting behind any of these candidates. I really do not like Ronald Reagan's extremely hands-off approach to politics. I don't like how much he cheapened conservative values.
He didn't!
I don't like that he does not have a good track record of being a genuinely conservative politician.
He wasn't
Carter, come on, his whole administration, his whole presidency had been a flop. He's not getting my vote. Reagan's not getting my vote. John B. Anderson's not getting my vote. We're just not voting this year, I guess. Election 1984. Reagan versus Walter Mondale. I'm not voting for either of them. Election 1988. George H.W. Bush versus Michael Dukakis. I don't want to vote for either of them. Gosh. Yeah, I'm not voting for either of them. Election 1992. We have Bill Clinton versus George H.W. Bush versus Ross Perot. Out of these candidates, Perot is probably the only one I can get behind. Ever since Reagan, domestic policy took a serious backseat to foreign policy. And Perot would probably undo a good bit of that. He is running on a bit of a domestic focus and populist campaign. Election 1996, we have a rematch between Bill Clinton and Ross Perot. Also, Bob Dole is in there. Ross Perot, once again. Election 2000, we have George W. Bush versus Al Gore, and I do not want to vote for either of them. Election 2004, George W. Bush versus John Kerry. Two sides of the same coin. I'm not voting for either of them. 2008, Obama versus McCain. Do I have to say it? I'm not voting for either of them. Goodness, no. Election 2012, Obama versus Mitt Romney. I guess I could vote for Romney. His policy still sucks, but he's got some decent stuff in there, like a needle in a haystack, but hey. 2016, Trump, easily. First guy in a long time to actually take a position of, hey, we're going to focus on stuff back at home, and we can forget all that stuff abroad. We might be a superpower, but we need to put ourselves first. How can we expect to take care of other countries if we can't take care of ourselves? And election 2020, Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. Trump once again. Biden, it's interesting that he is adopting more of these domestic-focused policies, but Donald Trump's conservative stances, that still gets my vote. So, Trump 2020. And there we have it, how I would vote in every U.S. presidential election across history. I would ask all of you to tell me yours in the comments below, but I'm not expecting you all to write a big list, so maybe don't do that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. Mr. Z, out.
Hi, we're the Flynn family. For the lowest price on tires, just drive in any Flynn's Tire and Auto Service. Or you can just call us. So when you need tires, just drive in.
This video is sponsored in part by YouGov. Hey, I'm a person named Mr. Beat. You may remember me from films such as The Revenge of Abe Lincoln or The Wackiest Wagon in the West. You may also remember me as the guy who's made a video about every single presidential election in American history. And I also wrote a book about every single presidential election in American history. Look, there have been some close presidential elections in the United States, but most of them have not been in recent years. In this video, I'm counting down the 5 closest presidential elections in American history, looking at both the electoral votes and the popular votes. But first, hey, remember at the beginning of this video when I said that this video was sponsored by YouGov? Well, I wasn't lying. It really is. YouGov is my favorite way to take surveys and make extra cash and earn rewards. I originally started using it when I was stuck in line somewhere. I think the DMV or something. It's just a great, quick way to answer questions and get rewarded for it. Here I am, once again, taking a YouGov survey on the toilet. I still can't believe I filmed this. Sorry. Anyway, YouGov